What is up, everybody? It is the Friendly Weirdo here, and we are going to do some Royal Rumble predictions. I know the Royal Rumble's like less than 24 hours away, but it's never too late to do some predictions, unless it's after the pay-per-view, in which then you'll just know everything, so it's kind of pointless. This year's Royal Rumble is looking up to be a good one. Like recent Royal Rumbles, it has a really strong undercard leading up to the Rumble matches itself. But who do I think is going to win? Let's find out. So let's start with the pre-show matches. The first is a fatal four-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship, as the champion, Buddy Murphy, takes on Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto of the Lucha House Party. Now, I haven't been watching 205 Live recently, even though I really would like to, because 205 Live I think is vastly underrated. I believe that Buddy Murphy is going to retain the title because they've built him up as such a threat in the Cruiserweight division that I think it's going to be a longer storyline, if that makes any sense, before he gets knocked off his perch. Like, they're going to probably build up one of the members of the Cruiserweight division like a babyface and have him dethrone Buddy Murphy at some later point, maybe at WrestleMania, where that usually happens. But I just don't see, like, right now, Akira, Hideo, or Kalisto holding the Cruiserweight title. I mean, just because this seems like kind of a match just to hype the crowd up for the pre-show. So, yeah, Buddy Murphy's going to retain. As for who he's going to pin, I don't know. Up next is Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a match for the United States Championship. This storyline's been kind of dormant for a couple weeks, but don't worry, people. I'm sure this match will be a good one. All I can say about this one is I don't see Shinsuke Nakamura regaining the title so quickly after Rusev took it from him on the Christmas edition, on the Christmas or New Year's edition of SmackDown, one of those. And I believe Rusev is going to retain. Now, could Shinsuke get the title back at some point down the road? Maybe he could. And I can't really think of any other mid-carders right now who can go for the title. Like, Hope maybe, like at WrestleMania, Samoa Joe could go after Rusev and win the U.S. title. But as it stands right now, I think Rusev is going to retain against Shinsuke. Alright, let's get on with the main show as Brock Lesnar defends against Finn Balor the Human. I'm surprised nobody's made that joke yet. Finn the Human, Finn Balor, who says he's gonna be Finn the Man at the Royal Rumble. Anyway, I don't see Finn winning the Universal title. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love for Finn to hold the Universal title just to throw Brock Lesnar because I am so sick and tired of this Brock Lesnar shit. Like, it's gone on long enough. Let him go to the UFC and do his own thing. I don't care, but just keep him away from the Universal title. Or any title in WWE for that matter. But I have heard that there are plans to have a Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins Universal title match at WrestleMania. So, at the moment, I really can't see like them pulling the trigger for Balor yet. So I'm going to say Lesnar's going to retain. I will say, however, that I think this match will be just like his matches with Bryan and Styles, because he's shown recently, like when he's with like these smaller guys, these guys like the light heavyweights and the cruiserweights, he can pull up some really good matches. So up next is the new Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. These guys have been having a lot of brawls, a lot of words, and I love heel Daniel Bryan. I think he's great. It's like he's been a babyface, like a natural babyface for so long that you forget how much of a good heel he can be. Like, I remember his heel run from back in 2012, and he was actually a pretty good chicken shit heel. This time he's slightly less chicken shit and he's like more aggressive as a heel. So it's different and I like that. Be that as it may, I say Daniel Bryan is going to retain his championship against AJ Styles. And hopefully we can have a Daniel Bryan versus Mustafa Ali match at WrestleMania for the title, because Mustafa Ali did pin Daniel Bryan in a tag team match. So you could make an argument that he's owed a title match. And I would make that argument if it means we get that match for WrestleMania. Up next is Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, Becky Lynch has been the hottest thing on SmackDown in a while with her badass tweener turn, I want to say. I mean, it started as a heel turn, but you couldn't pay these people to boo Becky Lynch, so they just went, all right, we'll just have her do this tweener thing or badass face thing, and it worked. So, and Asuka won the title at TLC from Charlotte and Becky in a triple threat TLC match. And I'm pumped because I love Asuka, and I'm just glad she kind of got away from that middling spot she was in 2018, especially with those losses, but mainly the Extreme Rules loss to Carmella. Anyway, I predict Asuka will retain the title, and I feel like there's going to be some interference on Rousey's behalf since there is still some heat with her, Lynch, and Charlotte. So I feel like Rousey is going to cost Becky her match somehow, and Asuka's going to retain. And who does Asuka face afterwards? After what I saw from that Battle Royal that got Asuka that spot at the TLC in the TLC ladder match, I hope it's Sonya Deville because those two can put on some awesome stuff together. Up next is Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. This match may be great when we see it, but the build leading up to it was bad. Like, they have, golly gee Willikers bright-eyed new kid Ronda, and it's very irritating to say the least. I don't like this version of Ronda Rousey because you have the baddest woman on the planet, have her act like the baddest woman on the planet. Enough with the smiling, enough with the golly gee promos. Have her kick ass, take names, break arms, like she did with Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, Stephanie at WrestleMania. Don't have like this respectful shit. Like, it led to a good match with Natalia on the Christmas edition of SmackDown, but I mean on Raw, but still, I mean it's nice to see some fire from Sasha Banks, but like at the expense of Rousey, it's kind of like again exposing her weakness in promos where Shayna Baszler shines. But I do predict Rousey's gonna win. I mean, it's inevitable. Like, they're gonna have her as champion for WrestleMania. Like, that is not even a question. Up next is The Bar. Sheamus and Cesaro defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against The Miz and Shane McMahon. I don't know what they're doing with this story with The Miz and Shane. Like, it's entertaining. I will say that. I've been fairly entertained by The Miz and Shane's shenanigans. But here's the thing. I don't get where the end goal is, like, supposed to be. Like, is this going to be a heel turn for Shane? Is this a part of some convoluted plan that The Miz has to kind of humiliate Shane after Shane kind of stole his spotlight in the Best in the World Cup? Is this some way to re-debut Maurice? I don't know where this is going, and it's made me not as interested in this as I probably should be. Like, I do not think they're going to win this, and I kind of hope they don't because on SmackDown actually has the tag team division. Like, if they were doing this on Raw, I wouldn't be as upset because Raw doesn't really have much of a tag team division. Like, aside from the Revival and to some extent the Lucha House Party and maybe AOP, who do you really have that can be a viable contender for the Raw tag team titles? Maybe Riders and Hawkins will be, who knows? But as it stands, I am just hoping that the Bar retains so we can put an end to this storyline. And now we get the Royal Rumble matches. And I'm just going to breeze through these because I already know who's going to win both. For the men's Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins has all the momentum in the world. And like I said, I've heard rumors that he's going to face Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal title and hopefully a winning effort. Because if anyone should be the face of Raw right now, I'd say it would be Seth Rollins because he has been putting on banger after banger after banger matches with just about everybody. And like I think he should be rewarded for that. Like he's been like the top guy since Roman and since Roman left to trees leukemia and since Brock ran away with the Universal title. Like and no, I don't count Braun Strowman because I'm off the hype of Braun Strowman, honestly. But if I had a second pick of who was going to win the Rumble, I say Drew McIntyre because he's also a guy I think they're starting to push real heavily on the program. And I honestly wouldn't mind seeing McIntyre win the title either. And for the women's, I would say Becky Lynch is going to win the Royal Rumble after failing her title match because it's happened before. Like I saw people on Twitter saying, "Oh well, how can Becky win the Royal Rumble if she already has a title match?" Roman Reigns did that in like 2017. I remember people were so pissed about it, and it's not a rule that if you fail at a title match, you can't join the Rumble. Like Sami Zayn in 2018 Royal Rumble after he and Kevin Owens failed to beat AJ Styles, they did that too. So I predict Becky Lynch is going to win the Rumble and go on to face face Ronda at WrestleMania. If not, what I think they're going to do is like they're going to have like a Lex Luger Bret Hart Royal Rumble 1994 style finish where they both win. And like aside from the crowd gauging, because like maybe it'll be just a triple threat, but my brain says Becky Lynch will win the Rumble. And those are my predictions for the Rumble. I hope you enjoyed them. And I hope you enjoy the Rumble pay-per-view that is going to be coming up in less than 24 hours. Until then, be sure to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and give me a thumbs up and recommend me to a friend. I'm the Friendly Weirdo, and I am signing off.